the best version of you. Unlock your true potential. Empower your mind, body, and soul. Live with intentions, live with a purpose. Empower your dreams, make it happen today. No matter your age, rise and shine. Live boldly, live authentically. It's your time to rise and shine. Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Your journey starts today. You've got one life to live. Love yourself, be kind to others, break free and let your spirit soar. Empower life with Cleopatra. Will help you awaken the best version of you. Empower life with Cleopatra. Empower life with Cleopatra.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everybody. I can see there
Good
are quite a
morning,
few
good
people in the chat
afternoon.
already. Welcome, everyone. Listen, if you're in the chat, let me see you. Robin! Mwah! You're already here. Thank you, Robin, for joining. Says, sorry, I can't stay long. Feeling quite under the weather. Oh, Robin. Look, heart to you, darling. Hope you feel better, but just stay for the little while that you can, okay? Love you. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for joining tonight. It's going to be a good show, right? So, get your cup of tea and popcorn and all that, and just get ready to be entertained in a very nice professional way and friendly way as well. So guys, welcome once again to the show. I have a wonderful guest tonight, and I'm going to introduce her right now. If you're in the chat, please put something in the show on the chat for me. Yeah. So, guys, welcome to Empower Life with Cleopatra, the show where we equip, empower, elevate you to live intentionally, unapologetically, and excellently. I'm your host, Cleopatra, and today's conversation is one that will stretch your thinking, firm your identity, reignite your belief in what is possibly, you know, um, helping you to actually discover your purpose in terms of the Black community as well. Yeah. Today we are spotlighting Black British excellence in its truest, most impactful form. This is not a buzzword, but it is a lived reality, a movement, and a legacy in motion. And I'm deeply honored to be joined by a woman whose work is not only shaping institutions, but is reshaping futures as well. Right? Dr. Jacqueline Wabara is a British born academic visionary leader and powerhouse of transformation. Raised in the United Kingdom by Nigerian Igbo parents who migrated in pursuit of education and opportunity, Jacqueline is a living embodiment of heritage, resilience, and excellence across generations. She's an associate professor, an accomplished business strategist, a highly sought after keynote speaker, specializing in business transformation, leadership, and sustainability. She currently serves as the director of people and culture at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, bringing with her over 2 decades of senior leadership experience across private and public and third sector organizations as well. Jacqueline has been instrumental in redefining the equity, diversity, and inclusion EDI landscape, designing innovative and agile solutions that don't just tick boxes, but genuinely transform organizational culture, equity, and belonging. And beyond the boardroom, she's a deeply community driven philanthropist, right? She's a multi award winning event organizer, a tireless champion for youth development, employability, and upskilling initiatives, excuse me, and her passion for sustainable excellence led her to found the Black British Institutes of Excellence (BBRE), where she serves as the founder and CEO. So BBRE is a volunteer-led membership-based community interest company dedicated to driving employability, entrepreneurship, and sustained Black British excellence among professionals, entrepreneurs, and Black owned businesses. So through BBIE, Jacqueline leads transformative mentorship and training programs, spearheads an anti-gang and anti-knife crime initiatives such as Streets to Success, produces the award-winning Miss and Mr. Nubian pageants, and supports creative entrepreneurs through the Nubian Arts Foundation. So she's not just building platforms, she's building people, pathways, and possibility. She's definitely a true force of nature. And we are so honored to have her here tonight. And please join me in welcoming the phenomenal Dr. Jacqueline Wabara. Thank you so much for joining, Jacqueline.
Thank you so much for having me, and what an intro that was.
I know, I know, I know. But it's all yours, dear. So just take it, and just you know.
I
Thank
was
you
like,
so
wow,
much,
is that
Maureen.
me?
It's you, and well deserved as well. Maureen, thank you for joining. Thank you so much. So let's get straight to it, right? Because there are
Yes.
quite a few questions. I don't even think we'll be able to go through all the questions tonight. But let's
Okay.
start with you telling us about your background and what was the exact moment that sparked the creation of BBIE.
I think the main thing, in terms of the exact moment, the concept was something which I thought about way back to 2015. And that was literally 4 years after the London Development Agency, which funded a plethora of Black British focused programs, pan London, but each regional area within the UK had their own similar type of enterprise organization. So it was a plethora of projects ranging from health, youth, employability, entrepreneurship. So that void that was created when the various regional development agencies were no longer there, I actually said to myself, how is the Black British community now going to prosper without all the funding and the support and the mentorship? So that was way back in 2015. So the actual what drove me to actually decide there needs to be a umbrella organization was because in terms of leadership, there were less visible leaders than they were way back in 2005, 2010. And obviously the aim is for progression for any community. The Asian community progressing, the Jewish community progressing, or the Black British community progression. And during my thesis, which I started in 2015, my thesis was about Black business success and failure, highlighting the failures. And the biggest thing that drove me to, how do I put it, create a platform for individuals who have an aspiration to be or to strive towards excellence was the actual conclusions in my thesis. Basically highlighted the fact that Black British individuals, when it came to entrepreneurism, employability, and various other factors, were way behind. For example, business failings.
Yeah.
If a Asian-led organization was given 50,000, let's say 10 were given 50,000, and we gave 10 Black-led organizations 50,000. Sadly, this is real facts. 8 of the Asian-led organizations were still trading. Only 1 of the Black British-led businesses were still trading.
What do you think that is?
Now, in terms of the research I conducted, the main thing is actually accepting the fact that we don't know it all,
Right.
especially within the African community. They believe that we're naturally business, we have natural business prowess. So my father was a successful businessman. My uncle is a successful businessman. That means I am also a successful businessman. But the thing is, if you don't have the natural attributes,
Mm.
3 years down the line, your restaurant is going to fail. And
Right.
that's basically what happens. So it's a case of I can do it because my father did it, or I'm naturally, especially within, let's say, certain communities within the Black Caribbean and Black African communities, they believe
Yeah.
I can do it because it's a restaurant and people need to eat. My business is going to actually survive. It doesn't actually work that way. In terms of finding out if your target audience are beyond your actual family and friends. Now, the biggest myth is because my family and friends have said I can do it
Then
and they're
I
going to
can do it.
support me, they go out and open that restaurant and think, well, my cousin came to eat last week, my friend came last month. They believe that same trail of customers are going to continue once you've started trading. Unfortunately, you cannot rely on your friends and family if you want to succeed in business. So they may have supported you when you had the concept and the idea by buying food from you, maybe a mama puts type of scenario. You do mama puts, the church will come in, your bachelors will come in. You thought to yourself, well, I'm going to be rolling in it. 2 months later, you're realizing that the demand is there, and then you decide I want to set up a business. That type of demand is what they call temporal demand. It's not something that sustains a business. So that type of business that starts up based on what we call a whim or a slight or a passion. So you have having a passion for cooking. The Black British community believe their hobby is definitely going to lead to something that's going to be sustainable.
Mm.
Unfortunately, it's not the case.
Mm.
Now
Okay.
with the white, or let's say the Jewish, I actually use the Jewish and the Asian counterparts as a comparison for a double-blind study. They believe they don't have a natural astuteness when it comes to leadership. They don't believe it's ingrained in them, where our
Mm.
British community do. So in terms of failings, and the same thing happens when it comes to leadership within 9 to 5 within the workplace.
Mm.
We do courses. We are the Black British community. When it comes to doing courses, we have to give us a clap. When it comes
Yeah.
to, we can do the courses, course
Yep.
after course after course after course. But when it comes to seeing us in leadership, you'll be wondering, where's Ola Tunde or Ngozi, the one that did 7 masters who got first class? With all those qualifications, where is she? She's doing a substandard
Job.
It's not
Mm.
management. Again, you'd be wondering why. We're highly qualified. We love, especially the African British community. We have the qualifications, but why, when it comes to management, you don't see them in the boardroom as much when we have the qualifications? The thing is, and that's where the BBIE comes into place, the stepping stone from doing a course to actually getting in boardroom. There are various steps. If you don't know them, you need to be honest, put your hand up and say, I don't know, and come to organizations like BBIE and ask for help. And that's the problem, not wanting to ask for help because not that we know it all, because we're really qualified. We feel we
Yeah.
don't need to go backward.
Pride, I guess.
It's pride. It's actually a step backward. You've got a first degree, you've got your master's, you've got a PhD. Now you have to go to a community-led organization to ask the support.
Yeah.
It's a no. It's like, that's not where I'm actually heading towards, and that's the problem. To pay for it, the question is, are you going to pay for it? No. Are you going to go to a community-led organization and actually acquire it for next to nothing? No. I know it all. And again, back to the boardroom, the numbers are compared to equivalent communities who study as much, actually have the same levels of educational attainment. Unfortunately, the Black British community are failing behind miserably.
So is it just that, or also maybe even they themselves? Sometimes I feel like they come into an organization and they feel like they should be grateful for even having a job in the first place. So they see themselves as lesser than their Caucasian counterparts as well, and that would also obviously affect Their
It does.
growth.
In terms of the mindset, especially when you were not born in the UK. So when it
Yeah.
comes to BBIE, we deal with every spectrum of Black person, whether you were born in the UK, you came age 20, you came age 50. But then what we've actually noticed, the older the age of coming to the UK, the greater the mindset is when it comes to not feeling as though I belong here. So it's actually imposter syndrome. Should I actually be in this position?
Do I really, do I deserve to be
Do I
here?
really deserve it? So when a position comes up, they're actually aptly, in terms of qualification wise, they've got the qualifications, they've got the experience, but imposter syndrome fits in and think, well, this is not my country. Should I apply? Some don't apply. Some apply. Yet again, there are various processes when it comes to applying for a job, which differ from when you came from the Caribbean or Africa. If you don't know it, you need to put your hands up and accept. It's very different applying for a managerial role in the UK compared to when you're in the Caribbean or when you're in Africa. But actually accepting is the problem. And within our community, especially when someone's of age, 35 plus, having that mindset and having that conversation with ourselves by saying, leadership is where I'm aiming at. Do I have the full credentials? Asking that question and answering it honestly is a problem. So more organizations like BBIE need to attract individuals who are sitting on the fence, not too sure as to what the next direction is. They basically are looking for a mentor that needs to enable them to reach the next step that they're aiming for. But there are not enough BBIEs. We've just actually formed. We're actually doing a soft launch 2026 in Easter. And I actually did a lot of research into similar kind of organizations. There's some, but we're obviously doing a cross sector. So we're doing, apart from employability and entrepreneurship, you mentioned earlier, youth empowerment, creative entrepreneurship, because in terms of creative entrepreneurs, 25% of creative entrepreneurs hail from the Black British community. But 25% of successful creative entrepreneurs are not from the Black British community. Only 3% are successful. Yet again, the support that a European counterpart will get, let's say a creative entrepreneur, they'll go, Mommy, Daddy, I want to be a musician. I want to be an artist. They'll go, well done, Bob. We're going to help you. We'll give you some money. When a Black British person says, I want to be the next Davido, unfortunately, they'll be looking at you saying, are you mad?
Are you okay? Are you okay?
So with the Nubian Arts Foundation, which is a strand of BBIE, we help creative entrepreneurs who want to live that dream. We go through the mainstream route. So that's Arts Council. And if you're into film, for example, we were talking the other day, so many budding talented Black British film entrepreneurs. They're not getting anywhere because they're not going by the right route. You have to be a candidate with the British Arts Council. It's for everyone. But yet again, that imposter syndrome, applications from the Black British community are quite thought compared to other communities. They believe it's not for them. It's for everybody.
Or maybe they don't even know about it in the first place.
And that's it. In terms of, I've got this thing, when you're actually in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you come to the UK, or whether you're born in the UK, regardless of whether you're Black British, finding out information, fact finding, the fact finding element, again, it's quite shocking to know that I was talking the other day amongst 10 individuals who are trying to get into management. They've all got their masters, they've all got IT qualifications, but they want to be band 7 in the NHS. They're currently band 3. Now, the lower the bands, the easier obviously it is to get. But when it comes to senior, it's obviously much difficult. I asked them, is your CV currently ATS tracked? Half of them looked at me like they were shocked, like, ATS what? You want to work in the NHS? They're not working in the NHS, they're working in other sectors, but they want to work in the NHS, maybe because of good pension, etc. So when they mentioned they want to be band 7, which is an entry-level junior manager position. They've been applying some 3 years, 4 years. They've been sending CV after CV. They've got the qualifications, and they're wondering why they're not getting called for interviews. I actually asked them the question, as I said, ATS tracked. Half of them didn't know what it meant, what it actually meant. So if you don't know what ATS tracked means, and you're trying to get into senior leadership or junior leadership in any large organization, they don't sit down and look at individual applications one by one. It's all computerized. It's
It's
AI.
automated, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if your CV is not ATS compliant, it's going to go in the system and out the system, irrespective of the fact you've got first class in XYZ. Now, what's quite shocking is I did the same workshop with non-Black British. 9 out of 10 knew what ATS
Knew what it was. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Black British cohort who were more qualified, 1 out of 10 knew what it was. But they're complaining, blaming racism. It's not racism. The AI system, the computer is not racist. It didn't actually sift, your CV was sifted out. Now, the programs that we've got at BBIE, all of the programs we've got are to enhance excellence in creative entrepreneurship, in health, which is very important, prostate cancer, which you've talked about it on your previous shows, the actual naivety in terms of who can get it, how can you get it, how you can nip it in the bud at the early stage. So excellence, it's in all spheres of excellence, BBIE. It's not just in employability or entrepreneurism.
Okay. That's interesting. I mean, okay, talking about the ATS tracking system, I think maybe you should educate everyone now about it.
Which it is. I know people are thinking.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, it's not even part of the questions I was going to ask you. But like I said to you, when we're talking before the show, questions based on your comments, other questions might just pop in here and there. Because I think that people need to be aware of what it is. You and I know what it is, but not everybody knows what it is. So please educate them what it is and how they can actually go about making sure that their CVs are ATS compliant.
It's very simple. All I need to go is go onto Google or go onto any AI app, Gemini, Chat GDP, put their CV in. It's very simple. And say, make my CV ATS compliant, automatic tracking system compliant. It's quite simple. Now, ATS basically means it formats it. So if you've got all these various blocked out text boxes, unfortunately, the ATS system will sift it out. It won't read it across in a linear manner. It will read it up to, let's say it's got 3 columns. Some people put columns on their CVs. They put a profile and they put a text box, and they black it out and then put a white section. That, unfortunately, is not ATS compliant. So when it goes through the system, it will read part of a paragraph and stop, and then it'll go back again. So imagine it's based in 3 columns. It will read the column only 1/3 of the sentence, and it'll be going down. Automatically, it'll be sifted out.
Interesting.
All large organizations, that's what they use. They don't sit down, because people say, oh my God, this is racism. How can this be? My CV was A1. It was A1, but unfortunately, ATS sifted it out.
Yeah.
Once you change your CV and make it ATS compliant, it's free, it's simple. It takes 20 minutes of editing, applying to large organizations, assuming the contents of your CV is, on par. You'll see a lot more interviews coming. Especially when it comes to management and leadership.
Yeah. Okay, so my royals, for those of you who
I love that name, royals.
Yes, they are, So for those of you who are watching, and for those who are going to be watching the rerun of this, please ensure, if you're looking for work, you make sure that your CV is ATS compliant, and it's very, very simple and straightforward to do. Like Jackie said, Jackie, should I call you Jacqueline or Jackie? Because
I don't mind.
I don't like being called Cleo. I hate it. I detest somebody calling me Cleo. I like Cleopatra, please. So
I prefer Jacqueline, but Jackie will suffice.
Okay, cool. So like Jacqueline said, it's very important for you to ensure that the CV you have is ATS compliant if you really want a job. And so ensure that that's the case. And even when you're doing the cover letter as well, make sure the cover letter aligns with the job specification so that and give examples.
Yeah, you can get basically the star methodology.
Exactly.
Situation, task, actualization, and how you actually
Yeah.
If STAR is not used, again, you will not get an interview.
Yeah.
It's simple and straightforward. It's simple, no matter how first class you got or how brilliant you were at university or your course. If the STAR methodology is not used, where you actually relate to the specification and where you actually did that particular task, if it's not listed in detail, again, your CV will be sidetracked. You won't get the job.
Yeah.
Interview.
Yeah.
Let's alone. Interviews that's a whole different ball game. We
That's a
actually
different kettle of fish. Yeah.
That's a different kettle of fish. With BBIE, we're going to be doing a one-to-one series of mentorship specifically for managers who are trying to get into managerial jobs, whose interview techniques have been deemed as being substandard.
Right. Okay.
And I've done a couple myself, and I'm being honest. Again, I've been in my own community. I'm very I'm very happy to see that the levels of education are excellent. I'll give our Black British community a round of applause. But when it comes to interview techniques, I'm very disappointed. Totally disappointed. I've actually, gone around friends, associates, when I sit down with them and then I realize no wonder you're not getting anywhere. It's actually being honest with yourself. You apply for 100 jobs and you haven't got an interview. Something's not right.
Something's not right. Yeah.
And it's not racism.
Yeah. So I mean, I think most people who are going to be watching this or some who are watching this right now will probably say, okay, so how soon can I, join BBIE and get this training and all that? So I guess towards the end of the show,
Yes,
if you drop the information, and I know you said you're going to be launching this soft launch
soft
around
launches in
Easter of next year.
Yeah, we've actually, which is because we're CIC. One of the things, the credentials, we've actually been trading. So I've been self-funding some of the programs myself. So Nubian Arts Foundation, the Streets to Success, it's already live already. It's just been funded by myself, obviously temporary, with a view to getting CIC match funding. So Streets to Success, the anti-knife crime, anti-gangs, it's already live. The workshops for individuals trying to get into management, the cohort is currently saturated, you can imagine, but the new cohort starts in September 2026.
Right. Okay.
So we've had two academic years of cohorts already going through the system. So I actually know it works in terms of making sure that I actually see individuals go from A to B and making sure the program's working. That actually was the rationale to make me actually decide and say, right, this has to be taken to the next level, because the small cohort is just like 25 people. We, with funding, can help 300, 400, 500 members of the community within an academic year.
That's really good. That's really good. I mean, it will be nice also, maybe by the time you do a soft launch, maybe on the website, maybe get one or two of those people actually give a testimonial.
The testimony, the website is currently being configured
redesigned
now. Reconfigured, because obviously the programs we had, there's going to be at least 3 times the amount, but the testimonies they're there already. So because people have put them on their social media, and I use those testimonies to help me with the CIC formation, because funding. You basically need to, you can't just say, I've got a program, it's going to be successful. How? You need to prove how successful it's been. So I'm lucky you've got a couple of testimonials where individuals have started off on a salary of 26,000. Less than 2 years later, they're on 68,000, from 26,000 to 68,000 in less than 18 months. That's why applying for a job, staying there for 18 months, applying for another job, staying there for 18 months, applying for another job, staying there for 18 months. When you get to where you want to be, then you stop and slow down slightly. But when you're trying to fast track yourself, when you're over the age of 30, you have to fast track your life. And that includes fast tracking the way you actually apply for jobs. Everything has to be done at a quicker pace, because you've wasted enough time. Individuals have wasted enough time already sending in dud applications in the first place. So once you've realized, okay, I've wasted 3 years of my life, there's a way we can fast track them so they can actually catch up. So if somebody's a 9 to 5 person, from an excellence point of view, people say, how do we actually map out? What actually constitutes excellence? So from a 9 to 5, it's somebody who's been on 25,000 for the last 4 years, who 4 years later is on around about 70, 80. For a normal, let's say a creative entrepreneur who has never performed live in front of an audience of maybe more than 50, and they're aspiring to perform at the smallest O2, which is in Islington, which has a capacity of 650. So it's a case of, what's the biggest audience you performed at, let's say January 2026? If they tell us 20 people, our aim is to get them to a 600, a minimum of the smallest O2, which is in Islington, which is 650. So basically we do what they call mapping of every circumstance. Someone who's got breast cancer, who's stage 3, she's trying to get back into work. First thing is, with all the therapies you're undergoing, are you going through the right therapies that enable you to get back into work? For example, using a cold cap. Are you using a cold cap? Because some people don't want to use certain therapies for various reasons, thinking it's going to, but if you want to get back into society, unfortunately, you have to do these things. If not, you're literally going to be stagnant. And if you're striving towards excellence in health, as you well know, one has to adhere to the various processes. If not, excellence in health will not be achieved, excellence in work will be achieved, excellence in entrepreneurship won't be achieved.
Very true, very true. So would you say this is what makes BBIE stand out from other training organizations? So
Yes.
what would you say makes you really stand out from the rest?
I would actually, in terms of the USP, I have what they call lived in, it's not just testimonials. I think other training organizations don't have a benchmark. I set out a distinct benchmark. Like I said, for example, the leadership one, you want a salary of 36, you want to get into leadership, you need to be on 70. So we push them into the actual realms of excellence. It's not a pace by pace. BBIE, we handpick individuals who I believe, or my board members and my volunteers believe, will actually excel. So we interview them.
So do you just get into, do you just select those ones who are really low, or would you also want to further train those who are already earning maybe 80K already and they want to go into the 6 figures and 7
that's
figures?
Correct. Yeah. So basically, we'll do the ones who are the barrier. Basically, it's 3 different strands. Those for various who are affected by various barriers. Maybe their education is not on par. Maybe their levels of English are not on par. So those ones, for whatever reason, the barriers to employment are actually there. We remove those barriers. Then the ones who are striving for management, and then the ones who are already in management, who are striving to get the 6 figures and enter the boardroom. So it's 3 different strands.
Okay. Yeah. That's amazing. That's really amazing. So what is one misconception people have about Black excellence that you want to correct?
Black excellence, the misconception is based on, within the Black community, is based on a qualification. A qualification, even though I'm an academic doctor myself, a qualification doesn't mean excellence. It's the legacy that you leave behind constitutes the excellence, how you've touched the community, how you've used your skills to touch upon people's lives. That's what, to me, constitutes excellence. The legacy you leave behind for the next generation of leaders.
Excellent. That's a good one. That's a good one. So what would you say is a moment in your journey that almost broke you, but ultimately built you?
I think in terms of me personally, I think when I was working for the London Development Agency, anybody who's worked for the London Development as a senior manager, I thought it was forever. I actually thought my life was mapped out. Everything was mapped out. When the actual project stopped in 2011, I myself was literally, I wasn't working. People think, oh, I've had it easy, etc. You're Black British, you've had it easy. 2011, my job literally ended, and so did at least another 25 quite senior Black British leaders. We had no job. The project ended. So for me, it was a case of, do I start a business? Because I'm very entrepreneurial. I was doing certain things underneath. Do I look for a senior management job, which was very hard at the time because certain negative things. Our community, unfortunately, when it comes to funded projects, I was telling you the other day, they're not very truthful sometimes.
Yeah.
So there's been, well, I'll put it bluntly, in terms of the defunct London Development Agency, which is quite shocking. The reason why it ended up folding was because the money, the actual funding was grossly mismanaged.
Yeah, fraudulent activities, right?
You put it you put it bluntly, fraudulent
Yeah.
activity.
Yes,
And
just keep
that
it real.
unfortunately, what's shocking our community now, the people who are suffering in 2011, in 20, let's say 20, even 25, 2005, if you wanted 25K for whatever, for business, for educational advancement, it was quite easy to get. Now it's very difficult. So it's organizations like BBIE are set up there to draw funding on behalf of individuals who before
Yeah.
would have gone to London Development Agency. Now it's small organizations like BBIE who are helping those individuals. But in terms of the bureaucracy, it's tightened now. So people who are serious about achieving excellence, the support is out there, but they need to obviously show that they're willing and able and serious about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. So, what skills do you think every Black professional must master in 2026 going forward and beyond?
And in terms of excellence, irrespective if you've got great entrepreneurial prowess or working for an employer, an organization, the greatest skill you have is intuitiveness, knowing your surroundings and establishing your the niches that are in your own life and being actually accepting the truth. So we can't keep on blaming racism for your failings. And that's what we keep on doing, blaming racism for our failings. Now, I actually said there was one particular project I was actually on a panel of where I was sifting through applications that were entitled to funding. The panel were all Black. People that got rejected were blaming racism. And I said, it can't be racist because we're all Black. But no, they actually were quite surprised. I don't know if you remember Business Link.
Yeah, I remember.
Business Link, 75% of the individuals that were actually assessing businesses for funding were Black British individuals. So when you were turned down, you weren't turned down by Mr. Grey in a white suit, Mr. Joe Bloggs, who was Caucasian. You were turned down by people like me. And that's the shocking truth, where you'd be blaming, oh, this person, they won't allow me to have funding. This country is not allowing me to progress. The people who are turning you down, it's like Home Office. If you go to Croydon now and individuals are aspiring to be, to get their status. I've worked for Home Office for a period. The senior managers in Home Office, majority of them are Black Africans. So when you're being turned down, always look at the bottom of the letter. When it's telling you to return back to whatever country let's say Nigeria, for example, look at the name at the bottom. You will start noticing the names are actually quite familiar because the senior managers that have the decision making are actually Black British individuals who are actually there in leadership. They've managed to worm their way through the system and get to the top tier. And I want more people to get to the top tier. So people who are lower tier don't believe that barriers have been put into place to stop them from European individuals. Black British people now, like myself, have held positions where we can empower our own Black British people to be better individuals in various realms of the community. Yeah.
Okay. Guys, if you have any questions for Jacqueline, please feel free to put it, right? So for the young professionals, what advice would you give young Black professionals who feel unseen or underestimated?
The first thing they need to do is establish where they want to be in the next 5 years. It's a question that gets asked many times in interviews. Where do you want to be in the next 5 years? What have you done so far? And how are you going to get there? If you're not doing the correct things in terms of access to finance, funding, skills, knowledge, etc., you're not going to achieve the things. The biggest thing you need to do is find out what organizations are there that can support your cause?
Mm.
There's so many organizations out there. Find out the one that's actually going to help you with your particular niche, and then
Yeah.
persevere in order to achieve the particular goal. But don't just assume because you've got a qualification that you're going to actually achieve that particular goal in 5 years' time. It's not going to happen that way. Same thing with business. But because
Yeah.
your friends and family are saying, oh, set up a business, we're going to support you. That's the biggest thing in the Black community. Don't worry, we'll support you. We'll support you. As soon as you open live, you'll be wondering where are your friends and family?
Yeah, exactly.
And they're no longer to be
Exactly.
seen. They've gone quiet.
That's it. Exactly. Exactly.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing when people are striving for excellence when it comes to 9 to 5. Stop relying
Mm.
on your qualifications if you're trying to obviously navigate through the PAY system. Sorry, the 9 to 5. Stop relying
Mm.
on your CV, your family contacts, your family name. That doesn't
Mm.
work in the UK.
Mm. People don't care about that.
No
But you
one.
see, the thing is, I think also, I think because of the way the world is going in terms of AI, I
Yes,
think maybe a lot of Black professionals need to actually look more around that area as
yeah,
well and look for
that's what I was coming on
programs
to.
and courses that they can do to get them to upskill themselves to be able
Yeah.
to get into that space as well. Because a
Yeah.
lot of Black professionals are not even thinking along those lines yet.
Actually, you know, we say AI, some people see it as a separate part of their life. AI is integral in everyone's life
Yeah,
now. From the time
yeah,
you wake up, things, you know, your phone, AI,
yeah, yeah.
your the timetabling for British transports is
Mm-hmm,
AI
mm-hmm,
derived. Your job, as we mentioned earlier with CVs,
mm-hmm.
many jobs are actually defunct because of AI.
Yeah,
So if you don't actually, for example, programming, if you're a programmer, you need to do more courses because 25% of programmers in 15 years' time, they won't be needed. So you
yeah.
need to think 3 steps ahead of the
Mm,
average person. Many programmers now are actually finding it quite difficult compared to 15 years ago when contracts were there willy-nilly. Now
mm,
they're getting short, there are less and less and less availability, and people wonder
yeah.
why. Companies are folding, it's because of AI.
Mm. Okay. So if you could, I think this probably be the last question because I'm looking at this time. I don't want us to even get up to 45 minutes, but um, if you could redesign the entire UK education system or
Yeah.
professional system
Yeah.
for Black communities, what would be the first thing you would change?
The first thing I would change would be the notion that my qualification that I'm about to get is going to get me a good job. The qualification doesn't equal a good job. That's the first thing. We need to stop that thing. The qualification doesn't equal a good job unless you've done, let's say, 5 compulsory steps. That's the biggest
Mm,
thing. 5 compulsory steps plus your qualification. If you haven't done those 5 compulsory steps, which we mentioned earlier, well, 3 of them in terms of whatever, that's the biggest myth that can affect someone's actually self-esteem because they'll be wondering what's happening. My life is not going anywhere. I've done this, I've done that. So the thing is, do your qualifications, but if you don't undertake the various steps needed to make that qualification actionable, then unfortunately you're going to come to a very dark corner where you'll be wondering, what am I doing wrong? The sooner
yeah.
one establishes that there's something that one needs to be done, the 5 processes, the steps that need to be done, the processes that need to be adhered to, the sooner that one establishes that there's processes that need to be done, the better it is.
Okay. Look, well, I'm talking about more along the lines of along the educational curriculum itself
Okay.
for the Black community or the professional community, if we're going to include anything at all to actually help shape their mindset or to help them or to prepare them going into their professional lives
Yeah.
as students into professional work lives and all that, what would that thing be that you would include in this in the curriculum in the educational system?
I would include a period of volunteering. Now
Okay.
it's a very sore area because people start thinking, oh my God, I'm not getting paid. But on your CV, if you finished a particular course and there's no relative work experience, you're going to encounter a stumbling block.
Don't they have that already now? Like what do they call it? Um what do they call it? Internship or something like that?
National apprenticeship. I actually work for the
Yeah,
national
yeah,
apprenticeship. Yeah. And
yeah.
basically, the first thing you need to think of, even whether, is do something, the job you want to do that you're striving to get, make sure you've got it on your CV. Whether, well, let's say you volunteered. There's so many positions. If you go onto LinkedIn now, any position you want to get, whether it's IT, health, whatever, you find a position, but it's a voluntary position, not being
Mm,
paid. Expenses are always met. Always
mm,
factor in a volunteer period after one has finished their qualifications.
mm.
Remember, when you're volunteering, you can still work.
Yeah.
You just do 9 hours a week maximum. So once you've got that volunteering thing on your CV, it doesn't on your CV. One thing it doesn't ask whether you've been paid or not.
Mm.
It's a job
But if
you're
they say
doing.
volunteer, then they will assume that you were not paid. You were just doing it to at least maybe to
But you
get the
don't need you don't
experience.
need to disclose on your CV you're a volunteer.
Okay.
You don't need to disclose on your CV. I had positions that I did when I was at Choice FM. I actually was volunteering for Kenya at anyway, I was MTV. People thought, oh, Jackie's been working at MTV. I was a volunteer.
Mm.
You basically put the position, you put your obviously title, you put the period in your interview. All they ask you in the interview, no one asks in an interview, were you paid when you were working at XYZ? What they ask you is, how did you use this skill? When,
Mm.
where, how, and what was the end result? But no one
Mm.
says, oh, when you were working at your former job, did they pay you not in an interview? They assume that you actually carried out that particular job to your best of your ability and you did the
Ability.
skill. So the best
Mm.
thing is putting a volunteer position on your CV doesn't mean anything in terms of negative, because no one asks you. If you want to say I was a volunteer, that's up to you. You don't need to divulge, because your reference will
Mm.
basically ask you, did you have good communication skills? Did you have XYZ? So putting a volunteer post doesn't actually have any negative connotations at all. Volunteer, work part-time. That's my mantra
Yeah.
for every single individual who's going through the educational system, because if not, there's going to be a big void on the CV, and it's a chicken and egg
Mm.
scenario. How do I get a
Mm.
job with no experience? So you go
Yeah.
round and round and round and round, and that comes on to one of the, I suppose, disheartening things, where you find many qualified, skilled individuals doing work in the care system.
Mm.
PhD holders working as care workers. Why?
Yeah.
Because they haven't managed to get that first wrong entry level job, because they're looking to
Mm.
get paid for it. And I always say, try and get something on your CV which quantifies you going into that particular sector.
Mm. Very true. Very true. I completely agree. So I think maybe you should. I know the website is still under construction,
Yes, it
but
is.
if somebody wanted to get hold of
In
you
contact, it's
or
quite
for more
simple.
information,
Yes,
what would they do?
all they need to do is send an email, info@BBIE, Black British Institute of Excellence. So it's actually broken down, very easy to remember, .org.uk.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it in the chat. So info@bbie.org.uk.
.uk. Yes.
So it's right there on the chat. And I know that after the show ends, this YouTube of a company would hide this. So I'm still gonna put it again after the
Yes.
show on the chat again, okay? So that somebody, if you want to get hold of her, at least she can put you in the records until the proper launch,
Yeah.
and
I
then
can
you can,
basically
if you
put
want to have a training program with her.
anyone in the right direction, anybody who wants some directional talk for free, if they send an email, they definitely 100% will be spoken. Well, somebody will speak to them. It may be me, it may be one of my volunteers. But in
Okay.
terms of, I need help getting from A to B, please help. We're available now, despite the
Okay.
fact we haven't actually launched.
Right. Okay. So they're available now, even. So
Yes.
please, reach out. If you're watching this on rerun, please, info@bbie.org.uk. If you need help with your CV, if you need help
We're
with
there.
having like interviews, if you
Yeah,
need
we're there.
help with getting confident, in terms of like how to carry yourself during the interview, stage, if you're lucky enough to get to that stage,
Yeah.
whatever it is that has to do with your career, in order for you to be able to attain the excellence that we're talking about, please reach out to Jacqueline. She'll be very happy to help you.
I certainly will.
Is there anything that you think everybody should know about before we round up?
Yes, one of the things BBI aspire to is to ensure that everyone has a role model. So it's a community-based organization. But when it comes to our awards night, and that's called the Pride of Black Britain, the first one will be this October. We're
Okay.
actually utilizing established, let's say, community exemplars, well-known established celebrities. So these
Okay.
celebrities are there for people to look up to and say, well, if they can do it, I
So
can
can
do
I.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Representation matters. There's no point in saying you can be a manager if you don't know at least 10 or 10 to 20 and see their lifestyle. You'll see a
Mm.
lifestyle of a Black British individual earning six figures and go, if they can do it, so can I. And that's what we want. We've got more people who are doing things when it comes to mentorship. They actually have achieved the
Mm.
excellence. So
Mm.
apart from lip service, we have a panel of individual or a plethora of people who've achieved the successes when it comes to film, for example, mainstream film, Black British, mainstream entrepreneurism, Black British. These are successful individuals who will be highlighted
Mm.
during the awards night. So the community, the awards for community and awards for example, Alison Hammond, who is a
Mm.
journalist. Many people know
Yeah.
Alison, who I
Mm-hmm.
know. People like Alison Hammond will be there at the awards night. So somebody who's
Mm-hmm.
looking at journalism who's Black British and thinking, will I be able to get onto television? When you see celebrities, you'll actually real celebrities, not as in our community celebrities. There's different type of celebrities. There's,
Mm-hmm.
there's the different types. There's the ones that we all know are popular on social media. These are real
Mm.
celebrities who individuals within the UK or Black British can aspire to. Well, we basically want to have a two-thronged awards night, community-based and then celebrity-based. And that's what
Mm.
we're working on now behind the scenes. So when we say
Okay.
Black British excellence, you can
Mm.
aspire to those individuals who have actually achieved excellence and be
Mm.
mentored by them as well.
Okay, now that's really good. So I guess nearer the time you have more information for people in case they want to purchase tickets for the event, or
Definitely.
if it's a free event, then even better. You know,
Free.
just say it.
We've just we're just adding the e-commerce part on the website
Okay, good.
because we're gonna be selling tickets on there.
Good, 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 good. And I'm sure, the tickets will be quite friendly for people to be able to afford so that,
Yes,
they can
definitely.
come in
Some
and
will, some
yeah.
will be complementary. Like I said, one of the things about BBIE, we factor various elements.
Mm.
Some will be complementary. Some will be prorated based on organization. Some will be no. It just depends on what particular stage you are in your life.
Mm. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Wow. Okay. Thank you so much. I mean, I had so many questions, but time would not permit
That's
us.
what
So,
we'll have to do a part two. I think once we've launched, we'll have to do a part two. What do you think?
yes, yes, nearer the time, yes. And hopefully we'll have more juiciness and more stories
Yes,
or experiences, even in getting to that stage where you will be at that time. So,
yes.
yeah, we can have a part two. If the Lord permits us to do so, then definitely. So, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your courage, and your vision with
My
us
pleasure.
today. Yeah, and your work, I think, is not just transforming organizations. I think it's transforming lives.
Yeah. I think for me, giving back, because I think I've had it quite easy. I was born and raised in the UK. So for me, it's
Mm.
been quite easy. The pathway hasn't been as difficult for someone who's come from, let's say, Gabon to the UK, who's
Yeah.
thriving. So I think I'm an exemplar and I should give back what I can to the community
Mm.
and, impart lives as best as I can. It doesn't take anything from me.
Yeah, totally, totally. And I think everyone that's watching right now and listening, guys, listen, today's conversation is it's more like empowering you to if you're not really out there yet in terms of becoming the best version of yourself professionally, at least you have a medium and you have somebody who is willing to help you.
Yes.
That's what this whole show is about. It's about, Empower Life with Cleopatra is about helping you to become the best version of yourself. And Jacqueline is here now to help even move, you to that place professionally, and for this training though, do they have to pay for it?
No,
Or because the CIC is free,
it's
right?
free. It's all
So
free.
see, so you got nothing to lose,
Nothing at
You're
all.
somebody's here waiting, ready and waiting for you to just say, yeah, I need help. There's no shame, for goodness sake, there's no shame
But
in this. Yeah.
our community, that's the thing, accessing the help. Once you
Yeah.
say I need help, you'll start seeing your life transform slowly but surely.
That's right. That's right. So please, just make it let it be your new year resolution, be
Yeah.
intentional about your career if you're professionally minded. If you're business minded, I'm sure there will be, areas where Jacqueline will be able to help you as well. And her team will be able to help you in terms of how to be successful in your business,
Yeah.
key things that you need to always bear in mind, what your USPs are,
Yeah.
and how you should
The actual
target.
business plan itself will make sure your business plan is workable.
Yeah, exactly. So all those things that are very important. So thank you so much. But if tonight's episode has inspired you, please, and if it's challenged you or expanded your perspective, like this video, put something at the end of the show, wait for like 3 or 4 minutes or 5 minutes, and then put a comment on the chat to say, you learned something, share with somebody else, and don't forget to subscribe as well. Once again, Jackie, thank you so much. I think I've got a frog in my throat tonight. I don't know why.
The weather.
But thank you so much for coming here to share your expertise with us, and we really appreciate it. And my audience, thank you so much, my royals. Thank you for joining tonight, and we're gonna leave it here, and we're gonna say Happy New Year in advance.
Happy New Year.
And by the way, I hope you guys had a good Christmas. I did. Yeah, I hope you guys had a good Christmas. But we've got New Year to look forward to, which is in a few days. So Happy New Year in advance. May be a wonderful New Year for us. And I'll see you in the New Year, guys. In the meantime, be bold, be strong, be kind, be empowered. And love one another. Okay. Take care, guys. Thank you for watching. Jackie, thank you so much. Bye now.
Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Unlock your true potential. Empower your mind, body, and soul. Live with intentions, live with a purpose. Empower your dreams, make it happen today. No matter your age, rise and shine. Live boldly, live authentically. It's your time to rise and shine. Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Your journey starts today. You've got one life to live. Love yourself, be kind to others, break free and let your spirit soar. Empower life with Cleopatra. Will help you awaken the best version of you.